the floor where they drop like bombs. Faceless voices running all the cons. Digital whispers in the binary night. No light, no face, pure sound, no sight. Stories unfold in the dark unscrolled. Echoes of silence, secrets untold. Waves crash loud in this audio cave. No mic, no fame, just the sound we crave. Tune and turn up, let the silence break. Raw, unfiltered, hear the earthquake. No mic needed, just a vibe that's real. Faceless words you can touch and feel. In shadows, voices untamed. No need for spotlight, no claim to fame. Just a beat of life in a stream of thought. Every word a punchline, no need to be taught. Just listen close, no visuals needed. Raw conversation, unprocessed, unseated. Feel the pulse in every sentence said. No distractions, just thoughts in your head. Whispers of the streets, rumbling through. Faceless yet vivid, a world in view. No mic, just souls, connecting in flow. Pure and raw, let the rhythm go.
What I have described as a blind spot is not a mere oversight on Sellers's part. I think it reflects Sellers's attempt to combine two insights: first, that meaning and intentionality come into view only in a context that is normatively organized, and, second, that reality as it is contemplated by the sciences of nature is norm-free. The trouble is that Sellers thinks the norm-free reality disclosed by the natural sciences is the only location for genuine relations to actualities. That is what leads to the idea that placing the mind in nature requires abstracting from aboutness. Now Aquinas, writing before the rise of modern science, is immune to the attractions of that norm-free conception of nature. And we should not be too quick to regard this as wholly a deficiency in his thinking. Of course, in all kinds of ways it is a deficiency. There is a live possibility that, at least in one respect, Thomistic philosophy of mind is superior to Sellersian philosophy of mind, just because Aquinas lacks the distinctively modern conception of nature that underlies Sellers's thinking. Sellers allows his philosophy to be shaped by a conception that is characteristic of his own time, and so misses an opportunity to learn something from the past. John Henry McDowell, Having the World in View, Essays on Kant, Hegel, and Sellers. John McDowell is a prominent South African philosopher, currently a university professor at the University of Pittsburgh, known for his work in the philosophy of mind and language, metaphysics, epistemology, and ethics. His philosophy often engages with figures like Aristotle, Kant, Hegel, and Wittgenstein, aiming to overcome prevalent philosophical assumptions, particularly those stemming from a view from nowhere that disconnects the mind from the world. A central theme in his work is the concept of mind and world, where he argues that experience is inextricably linked to both sensibility and understanding, allowing thought to be rationally constrained by reality. He advocates for a therapeutic approach to philosophy, seeking to dissolve rather than solve philosophical problems by exposing misleading pictures of the relationship between mind and world. John Henry McDowell was born on March 7, 1942, in Boksburg, South Africa. He began his university education at the University College of Rhodesia, now the University of Zimbabwe, from 1960 to 1962, where he earned a first-class BA and the Vacuum Kariba Scholarship. In 1963, he moved to New College, Oxford, as a Rhodes Scholar, completing another first-class BA in 1965 and an MA in 1969. He then lectured at Oxford and was a Fellow of University College from 1966 until 1986, before joining the faculty at the University of Pittsburgh. A significant transforming experience in his career was his encounter with Donald Davidson during Davidson's visits to Oxford in the 1970s. John McDowell's translation of Plato's Theaetetus, published in 1973, stands as a significant early scholarly achievement that, while not an original philosophical treatise, offers profound insight into his intellectual grounding. This work is a meticulously rendered English translation of Plato's complex epistemological dialogue, accompanied by extensive and philosophically rich notes and an introductory essay. The Theaetetus itself famously investigates the nature of knowledge, exploring and ultimately rejecting definitions such as knowledge as perception or as true judgment. McDowell's contribution goes beyond mere linguistic accuracy. His translation is praised for its philosophical precision, adeptly conveying the nuances of Plato's arguments. Crucially, his accompanying notes are not just explanatory but interpretive, providing deep philosophical commentary that often anticipates themes that would become central to his later, original work, such as the intricate relationship between the mind and the world and the rejection of a given sensory input unshaped by thought. While John McDowell has a prolific publication record with numerous essays and collected works, there isn't a readily identifiable next major philosophical work in the sense of a single, forthcoming book that would mark a significant new phase in his thought, similar to Mind and World. McDowell's pivotal role as the editor of Gareth Evans's The Varieties of Reference, published posthumously in 1982, highlights his profound dedication to scholarship and his connection to a significant figure in analytic philosophy. Gareth Evans was a brilliant Oxford colleague and friend whose untimely death left a substantial body of unfinished work. McDowell undertook the demanding task of compiling, organizing, and, in many cases, completing Evans's intricate arguments from lecture notes and drafts into a coherent and influential book. This volume is a landmark in the philosophy of language and mind, developing a sophisticated Russellian theory of reference, which posits that the meaning of singular terms is directly tied to the objects they refer to. Evans explored how information contributes to reference, particularly in demonstrative thought, introducing the concept of identifying knowledge, the idea that genuine thought about an object requires a unique way of identifying it, involving deep connections between conceptual capacities and perception. While editing, McDowell's intimate engagement with Evans's ideas, especially those concerning the interplay between perception and conceptual abilities, profoundly shaped his own thinking. Mind and World, published in 1994 and originating from his 1991 John Locke Lectures, is widely considered John McDowell's magnum opus and a foundational text in contemporary philosophy. This ambitious work systematically confronts what McDowell identifies as a pervasive gap in modern philosophy, the difficulty of explaining how our minds, equipped with conceptual capacities, can genuinely be in rational contact with an independent world. He argues that attempts to bridge this gap often fall into one of two unpalatable extremes: coherentism, which risks detaching our beliefs from any external constraint by reality, or the myth of the given, which erroneously suggests that experience provides raw, unconceptualized data that can somehow ground our knowledge. Following Wilfrid Sellars, McDowell vehemently rejects the myth of the given, asserting that for anything to serve as a rational constraint on our thought, it must already be conceptually structured. His central and most famous thesis is perceptual conceptualism, which posits that experience itself is intrinsically conceptual. When we perceive, our conceptual capacities are not just applied to a preconceptual given, but are already active in shaping what we experience, seamlessly unifying sensibility or receptivity to the world and understanding our conceptual thought. Published in 1998, Mind, Value, and Reality is a significant collection of 15 previously published essays that provide a deeper understanding of the development and application of McDowell's philosophical framework. The essays, predominantly written in the 1980s and early 1990s, often either prefigure or elaborate upon the core ideas he synthesized in Mind and World. The book is structured around its title's 3 thematic sections. In the Mind section, McDowell explores various aspects of the philosophy of mind, delving into mental content, the nature of perception, and his forceful rejection of the notion of non-conceptual content, directly foreshadowing central arguments of Mind and World. The Values section showcases his important contributions to metaethics and moral philosophy. Here, he navigates a path between objective moral realism where values exist independently of human response and subjective emotivism where values are mere expressions of feeling, arguing instead that moral values are genuine features of the world, accessible only through a cultivated sensibility. Also published in 1998, Meaning, Knowledge, and Reality serves as a crucial companion volume to Mind, Value, and Reality, presenting another extensive collection of 17 previously published essays. These essays largely focus on topics within the philosophy of language, epistemology, and metaphysics, with most originating from the 1980s and 1990s. The Meaning section delves into complex issues related to linguistic meaning, truth, and interpretation. This includes McDowell's influential critiques of certain forms of semantic externalism, the idea that the meaning of our words is solely determined by factors external to our minds, and his defense of a more nuanced view, often engaging closely with the work of figures like Donald Davidson and Saul Kripke. In the Knowledge section, he explores epistemological questions, particularly those concerning skepticism and the nature of epistemic justification. Having the World in View, published in 2009, is a focused collection of essays that illuminates the profound influence of 3 towering figures: Immanuel Kant, G.W.F. Hegel, and Wilfrid Sellars on John McDowell's philosophy. These essays, mostly written in the late 1990s and early 2000s, demonstrate McDowell's ongoing engagement with and development of arguments informed by these specific philosophical traditions. McDowell consistently revisits Kant, offering a particular interpretation of Kant's transcendental idealism. He argues that, correctly understood, Kant's philosophy does not erect a veil of perception or create an unbridgeable gap between mind and world. Instead, McDowell sees Kant as providing a framework for understanding how mind and world are inherently intertwined, a crucial antidote to both empiricist notions of an unconceptualized given and coherentist views that isolate thought from reality. His engagement with Hegel centers on the phenomenology of spirit, which McDowell reads as a powerful articulation of second nature. Also published in 2009, The Engaged Intellect serves as a complementary volume to Having the World in View, presenting a broader range of McDowell's essays that often engage with contemporary philosophical debates and respond to critiques of his work. This collection of essays further articulates and defends McDowell's core philosophical positions. Many pieces in this volume are direct responses to critical interpretations of his groundbreaking Mind and World or serve to elaborate on specific points, thereby clarifying his nuanced positions on topics such as the nature of perception, the indispensable role of concepts in experience, and the intricate relationship between the natural world and the normative space of reasons. Recent publications and discussions surrounding his work, such as the 2022 collection Reason in Nature, New Essays on Themes from John McDowell, indicate a continuing engagement with the unity of his thought and its implications across various philosophical fields. He remains a highly influential figure, and his ongoing contributions are more likely to appear as further essays, responses to critics, and possibly new collections, rather than a single, groundbreaking new monograph at this stage of his career. he is still actively engaged in academic discussions and appointments, such as his ongoing role as university professor at the University of Pittsburgh. References: John McDowell, Philosophy, University of Pittsburgh Archive, June 3, 2013 at the Wayback Machine. John McDowell, Mind and World. Harvard University Press, 1994, p. 29. Roger F. Gibson, McDowell's Direct Realism and Platonic Naturalism, Philosophical Issues Volume 7, Perception 1996, pages 275 to 281. McDowell, J. 2007. What Myth? Inquiry. 54, 338 to 351. doi 10.1080002017407014892111. S2 SID 2146539141. John McDowell, Mind and World. Harvard University Press, 1994, p. 26. Genova, A.C. March 2, 2003. Review of reading McDowell on Mind and World. Notre Dame Philosophical Reviews. ISSN 1538-1617. McDowell, J. 1979, Virtue and Reason, The Monist, 62, 331-50. Pitt Scholar honored with Mellon Foundation Distinguished Achievement Award, 1.5 million grant for putting human nature back in philosophy. McDowell, John 1995. Two Sorts of Naturalism. Clarendon Press. Wetteam, University of Pittsburgh University Marketing Communications. John McDowell Philosophy University of Pittsburgh. www.philosophy.pitt.edu archived from the original on October 22, 2019. Retrieved October 19, 2018. Tim Thornton, Review, New Books by John McDowell archived October 12, 2009 at the Portuguese Web Archive, The Philosopher's Magazine, number 36, 2009. Accessed April 2, 2011. Thomas Nagel The Possibility of Altruism Oxford University Press, 1970. Sellers, W. 1956. Empiricism and the Philosophy of Mind. In H. Fagel and M. Scriven eds, Minnesota Studies in the Philosophy of Science pages 253 to 329. University of Minnesota Press. Marion, Matthew May 16, 2024. John Cook Wilson. Metaphysics Research Lab, Stanford University. Citebook, website = ignored help. Hearst House, Rosalind, Lawrence, Gavin, Quinn, Warren, eds. July 1995. Virtues and Reasons. Oxford University Press. Pages 149 to 179. ISBN 9781383013283. McDowell, John October 21, 2010. What is the content of an intention in action? Ratio 23:4, 415 to 432. doi 10.1111j.1467-9329.2010.00476.x. McDowell, John 1979. Virtue and Reason. The Monist. 62-3, 331 to 360. doi 10.5840 Monist 1979622319. JSTOR 27902600.
Mics on the floor where they drop like bombs. Faceless voices running all the cons. Digital whispers in a binary night. No light, no face, pure sound, no sight. Stories unfold in the dark unscrolled. Echoes of silence, secrets untold. Waves crash loud in this audio cave. No light, no fame, just the sound we crave. Tune in, turn up, let the silence break. Raw, unfiltered, hear the earthquake. No mic needed, just the vibe that's real. Faceless words you can touch and feel. Hidden in shadows, voices untamed. No need for spotlight, no claim to fame. Just a beat of life in a stream of thought. Every word a punchline, no need to be taught. Just listen close, no visuals needed. Raw conversation, unprocessed, unseated. Feel the pulse in every sentence said. No distractions, just thoughts in your head. Whispers of the streets, rumbling through. Faceless yet vivid, a world in view. No mic, just souls, connecting in flow. Pure and raw, let the rhythm go. Pure and raw. Pure and raw. Turn up, let the silence break. Raw, unfiltered, hear the earthquake. No mic needed, just the vibe that's real. Faceless words you can touch and feel. Tune in, turn up, let the silence break. Raw, unfiltered, hear the earthquake. No mic needed, just the vibe that's real. Faceless words you can touch and feel. Pure and raw.
Okay.